Good evening to all of you. I hope all of you can hear me. So, wish you a very happy new year. I hope all of you are having a good time. So, we are in a new year, but we will be continuing what we have been doing until now, right? So, even though we had like a 1 week holiday, I hope you can remember what we have been discussing during the last lesson. So I think to start with, I gave you a homework related to your school, right? So I will just share my screen.
Happy New Year, teacher.
Wish you the same.
Happy New Year, teacher.
Happy New Year.
teacher.
Right. Okay. So I hope all of you can see my screen. So last time, if you can remember, we discussed about, or we did this activity where we read about my school, a student who has written about his or her school, right? So after that, we found out what are the specific information we need to complete this table, right? And then I told you that you can do this activity at home where you can fill the details about your school, and then you can try writing the small essay here, which you need to write about your school using the information you have noted down here, right? So as I said, I told you that I will be giving all of you the opportunity to read what you have written about your schools. So are there anyone who would like to start with reading what you have written? Right, okay, so I can see two have raised their hands, Vitulya and Kalani. So maybe we can start with Vitulya. You can go ahead.
My school is Mahamaya Girls College. It is situated in Kandy. It is a school only for girls. Anagarika Dharmapala Thero is the founder of Mahamaya Girls College. Our principal is Mrs. Shashikala Senadhira. There are about 4,000 students and 185 female teachers and 15 male teachers in my school. There are about 6 buildings, including the office, the library, and the staff room. There are classes up to 13. All our teachers and all sisters are very nice and friendly. I am proud of my school.
Right, okay, very good, Vitulya. So I think you have covered everything and you have written it in a very nice flow. So last time also I mentioned that when we are writing, the most important thing we need to understand is the flow of what we are going to write, right? So the main objective of this activity is to find out when we are writing, we need to write it in a very organized manner. So first we need to get down what are the information which we are going to present in my essay, right? We have to write down the notes. What are the important points which I'm going to write? And then we will have to see whether I have written them in the proper order so that the person who is reading can understand it well. And then we can start writing, right? So very good, Vitulya. And I think there was another one who raised her hand. Was that Ishini? Or Kalani? I think it was Kalani, right? Kalani? Right. Okay. So, Kalani, or else I think today we have a few new students as well. I didn't notice it earlier, but now I can see there are like 9 of you. Earlier we had only about 5. So just to enlighten the new students how we are proceeding with this. So I'm generally following the workbook which have been given for grade 7 along with the pupils book. So all the activities, or almost all the activities, I'm trying to cover here along with some additional activities so that you get familiar with what you have in your textbooks, right? So until now we have had few lessons. So that is why I started with activity 11 today in your workbook. And in your pupils book, we are still in unit 1. And here we actually did not do activity 6, but we have completed up to activity 5 where we talked about synonyms, right? So that is why I started today with the activity 11. So this activity 11, actually, I asked the previous students who were in the class to write the essay at home so that each and everyone can read, right? Okay, so I think Kalani has raised her hand again. So Kalani, I would like if you can start what you have written.
Madam,
Yes.
Madam school ගැන essay එක කියවුවද?
අපි දැන් ඒක කියවනවා. ඔයා දැන් ඒක ලියලා නම් තියෙනවා. ඔයාට කියවන්න පුළුවන්.
හා madam.
Right, Kalani, so if you are ready, you can start reading.
My name of school is Sri Sumanatissa Kanishta Vidyalaya. It is in Yatihalaga.
Kalani, you can continue. It is okay. We can hear maybe your brother or sister is crying. It's okay. I was able to understand what you were reading, so it is okay for you to read. It's okay.
Madam කියවන්නද?
Okay, Kalani.
My school name is Sri Sumanatissa Kanishta Vidyalaya. It is in Yatihalagala. It is a mixed school. It has several large buildings, a library and a small playground. It has classes up to grade 13. Number of students 400. Number of teachers 20. Number of buildings and what? My school has 2 guards.
Right. So is that all, Kalani?
Madam?
Is that all?
Yes, teacher, madam. School founder කරපු එක්කෙනාගේ name එක දන්නේ නැහැ.
All right, come on. It's okay. So just Kalani, I need to correct you in few sentences. So can you read again the first sentence?
මැඩ ඉස්කෝල නේම් එකද?
ඔව් ඔයා ඒ ලියලා තිබ්බ මුලින්ම ලියලා තිබ්බ වාක්‍යය පොඩ්ඩක් ආයෙත් කියවන්නකෝ මට පොඩි තැන් ටිකක් තියෙනවා හරි ගස්සන්න.
My school is ශ්‍රී සුමනතිස්ස කනිෂ්ඨ විද්‍යාලය.
Right. So I think you corrected this time. මම හිතන්නේ ඉස්සෙල්ලා ඔයා කිව්වේ ඒක පොඩ්ඩක් වෙනස් විදියකට. මට මතක නැහැ ඔයා කලින් කියපු එක හරියටම but generally when we introduce yes as you correctly mentioned this time you can start with my school is and whatever the name, right? So previously what you read there was some mistakes but this time it is okay. So can you read the second sentence?
It is in යටිහලගල.
Yeah, right. Okay. The next one.
It is a mixed school.
Right. So when we, this is not related to writing, but when we pronounce school, right? So you should not pronounce it as school. You should try to pronounce it as school, right? So try these things so that you can read more clearly, right? Okay. So
Okay,
what is,
teacher.
right? What is the next sentence?
Our principal is Miss Sir Nilantha Maitipe.
Right. Okay. So you can either you can say sir, but you can name him, call him as Mr. Right. So that is going to be the proper way of calling. Right. So what is the next sentence?
Number of students is 400.
Right. So when you are telling this kind of this kind of a sentence, we generally it is not nice to say number of students is, but you can say there are 400 students in my school, right? So that is more clear, and I think it is more nice when you read it in that way, right? So don't start with words like number of. Yes, it is, we can do it, but it is more nicer, or we can make whatever the things which we write more clear by starting with like there are 400 students in my school, right? And it is,
Madam, thank you.
so it is related to all the other numbers you mentioned as well. I think you mentioned about the number of teachers. So you can say like in my school there are 400 students and I don't know 20 teachers, right? So you can combine those two sentences together and write it as a single sentence, right? And what is the next sentence, Kalani?
There are about 20 teachers.
Okay, so there are about 20 teachers. So you can, as I mentioned, you can combine, right? So first you were talking about the number of students and then you are talking about the number of teachers. So since these two are like numbers, we are telling what are the numbers related to students and teachers, we can combine them and mention it as a single sentence, right? And the next one. Kalani, are there any more sentences?
It has 5 buildings and a library and a small playground.
Right. So when you are mentioning, I think you said it has few buildings and library and a small playground. So whenever we are writing sentences, we need to omit repeating and, right? So if I'm talking about, like you are talking here about different buildings, right? So when you are talking about different buildings, you do not need to use and in between each and every separation of buildings, but you can say there are few buildings either including the library and the playground, or else you can say there are few buildings and a library along with a playground, right? So do not use and more than once in a sentence, right? So there can be some exceptions, right? So when we are writing, we always need to see to limit the number of ands, right, to one. But there can be exceptions. In some cases, we might need to use two ands, but in general writing like these small essays, always use only one and at the end when you are talking about some similar things, right? And are there any sentences, Kalani?
It has classes up to grade 11.
Right, okay, that is okay. The next one.
It is a mixed school.
Right, so it is a mixed school, okay. So is that all, Kalani?
Yes, teacher.
Right, okay, very good, Kalani. So you have attempted it very nicely. So you had the flow. Only there are a little few things which you need to correct, right? Okay, so are there anyone else who would like to read what you have written about your school? Right, okay, Bashita. So Bashita, I think you connected a little bit late. So wishing you also a very happy new year. You can start reading your essay.
And hundreds teachers, my building. There are 30 classes in our school.
Bashita, I'm sorry, but I didn't hear you properly. Can you repeat?
My school is Kagala Vidyalaya. It is a boys' school. There are 4,000 students and teachers in my school. It has 30 buildings. There are 30 classes.
Right. Okay. So that's good, Bashita. I think I heard what you read throughout. So I heard that you were telling about the name of your school and where I think the number of students and the teachers, and then you mentioned the number of buildings. So good, you have the proper flow there as well, right?
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes.
Teacher, මට screen එක පේන්නේ නෑනේ.
Right, okay. දැන් පේනවද?
Yes, teacher.
Right, okay. Right, so is there anyone else who would like to read about your school? Right. Okay. So I think it's okay. Maybe you did not get a lot of time to do homework because it was maybe your playtime, New Year and everything. It is fine. But if you have time, try to or rather write the essay. And if you can send me so that I can just check it and give you a feedback. Right. Okay. So we will move ahead with the next activity. I think this is the activity actually we did right now. So you wrote about your school and then we discussed few things, right? And then today we will look into this activity, the activity 13 in your English workbook, right? So here, what you are supposed to do is read the paragraph and circle compound nouns, right? So do you know what are compound nouns? Any one of you, do you know what are compound nouns? I'm sure all of you know what is a noun, right? So what is a noun? I think even in this class, at the beginning, we discussed what are nouns. So it can be a person, it can be a place, it can be an animal. Right, so likewise we have different nouns, but today what we are going to look into would be not simply nouns, but it is going to be compound nouns, right? Can any one of you tell me, or if you know what is compound nouns? Before I explain, I would like if any one of you know, you can tell me what is a compound noun. Right, Vitulya, yes, you can try.
Compound nouns are nouns made out of one or two or more exciting words.
Yes, exactly. So compound nouns, sometimes some people say it is a combination of two nouns, but you can see when it comes to some words, it may not be necessarily two nouns, but it can be either two nouns or even sometimes a noun along with a verb as well, right? So I have a small few examples here, right? So here you can see compound noun. In this explanation, they have given as it is made up of two or more nouns that function as a single noun, right? So we use two or more nouns, right? And we come up with a single word to describe another third noun, right? So here you can see there are different ways we can have or we can see these compound nouns in English. One way is joined. So what do we mean by joined? Means you can see the first given compound noun, tooth plus brush. So what do we mean by tooth? Tooth means ape data කියන එකනේ, right? So if it is එකක් නම් tooth, එකට වඩා වැඩි නම් teeth, right? So the first word is tooth, the second word is brush. Brush කියන්නේ බුරුසුව කියන එක, right? So these two, if we take the meaning of these two separately, these two are two separate nouns, right? අපේ කටේ දත් තියෙනවා සහ බුරුසු අපි දන්නවා එක එක දේවල් වලට අපි පාවිච්චි කරන බුරුසු තියෙනවා. එතකොට මේ දෙක එකතු කරලා we have combined these two and come up with one noun which is toothbrush. So why do we call this as joined? Because we are writing it as a single word. Right? මෙතනදී අපි මේක join කියන්නේ join කරනවා කියන්නේ අපි එකතු කරනවා කියන එකනේ. එකිනෙකට වෙනස් නාමපද දෙකක් එකතු කරලා අපි තව නාමපදයක් හදනවා toothbrush ඒ කියන්නේ දත් බුරුසුව. එතකොට මේක අපි ලියද්දි ලියන්නේ එක වචනයක් විදියට මේ දෙක ඈඩ් කරලා නෙවෙයි ලියන්නේ එක වචනයක් විදියට. ඒතර ඒක තමයි අපි compound nouns හදන එක විදිය. Right? So this is one of the three methods we have when we are having compound nouns. Right? Tooth plus brush, we say toothbrush. So when we take tooth is going to be a separate noun, brush is going to be another separate noun, and toothbrush, it is going to be a totally different noun. Right? And then you can see the next word, bed plus room. Right? So what do we mean by bed? Bed කියන්නේ අපේ ඇඳට. Right? And room. Room can be anything, right? ඕනම කාමරය. ඒක අපි specify කරන්නේ නැහැ. So when we add these together and when we consider it as a compound noun, it is bedroom. ඒකට අපි කියනවා නිදන කාමරය කියලා. Right? And when we write bedroom, it is a single word. Right? සිංහලෙන් මේක අපි වචන දෙකක් විදියට ලියනවා වෙන්න පුළුවන්. නිදන කාමරය කියන එක. But in English, bedroom, it is a single word. Right? So this is really important because sometimes when some people write these kind of compound nouns, they mix up where we have it, where we write it as a single word and where we need to separate it and where we have this hyphen. Right? So the second method or the second type is separated. That means in this example, you can see the first one is post plus office. So post means තැපැල් කියන එක. Right? Post කරනවා කියලා අපි කියන්නේ අපි තැපැල් කරනවා කියලා ලියුම්. එතකොට ඒකට තමයි කියන්නේ post plus office. So office කියන්නේ කාර්යාලය කියන එක. එතකොට තැපැල් කරනවා කියන එක එක නාමපදයක්, කාර්යාලය කියන එක තව නාමපදයක්. ඒ දෙක එකතු වුණාම එනවා post office. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි තැපැල් කරන ඒ ලියුම් යවන ඒක handle කරන තැනට තමයි කියන්නේ post office. But here what you need to note is post office we do not write as a single word. It is not joined. Post office මැද්දේ මේ වචන දෙක මැද්දේ හිඩසක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ. Right? And here you can see high school. Right? High means අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන් උස් කියන එක සහ school කියන්නේ පාසල. But when we combine those together, high කියන්නේ සාමාන්‍යයෙන් උස ස්ථානයකට අපි කියන උස තැනකට. හැබැයි high school කියන එකේදී අපි එතනදී mean කරන්නේ උස කියන එක නෙවෙයි. high school කියන්නේ අපි දන්නවා ප්‍රාථමික ඊට පස්සේ ලොකු ඉස්කෝලේ නැත්නම් ද්විතීක ඒ වගේ ද්විතීක පාසල වගේ කියන එකට තමයි අපි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් high school කියන්නේ. So in that case we can see we are not combining the two words. So we will have to write it separately, right? And then we have wire fastener, right? Wire fastener. Wire කියන්නේ අපි දන්නවා අපේ ගෙවල් වලත් තියෙනවා අපේ TV එකේ plug වලට අපි තියෙන wires තියෙනවා ඒකට තමයි අපි කියන්නේ wire කියලා. Fastener, some what we mean by fastener, අපි fastener කියන එකෙන් කියන්නේ යම් කිසි දෙයක් ගැට ගහනවා හරි ඒ වගේ යමක්. So when we combine those together we have a wire fastener. Right? ඒ කියන්නේ අපි wire fastener කියන්නේ අපේ wires අපි ගැට ගහන්න අපි පාවිච්චි කරන තව යම්කිසි දේවල් තියෙනවා ඒකට තමයි අපි කියන්නේ wire fastener. Right? So in this case we have to use a hyphen. Right? So what do we mean by hyphen? මෙතනදී ඔයගොල්ලන්ට පේන HYPHENATED කියන්නේ hyphenated. But අපි දන්නවා මේ මෙතන පොඩි ඉරක් ගහන්නේ වචන දෙකක් එකතු කරලා දිරක් ගහන්නේ ඒකට ඉංග්‍රීසි වලින් අපි කියන්නේ hyphen. Right? So hyphen එකක් දාලා අපි ලියන වචන වලට තමයි කියන්නේ hyphenate. Right? And then we have a word like water plus bottle. Right? වතුර බෝතලය. ඒ දෙක එකතු කරපුවම water bottle. But when we write the water bottle, the proper way of writing should be hyphenated. Right? So these are the three ways that we can come up with compound nouns. But as I said, this does not need to be always nouns. Sometimes we may have out of the two, one maybe it can be a verb, sometimes it can be an adjective, right? Adjective can be විශේෂණ පද තියෙනවා ඒ වගේ there can be some other combinations as well, right? So these are compound nouns, right? So here I have a small example or small exercise where you have been given some words where you can use these compound nouns, right? So you can take about 5 minutes. I will give you 5 minutes. Try to see what is going to match, what is the word which is going to match from here, right? So you have been given the picture as well. පින්තූරයක් දීලා තියෙනවා. මේ පින්තූරයට අදාළව මෙතනට එන compound noun එකේ අනිත් කොටස ඔයගොල්ලන්ට හොයන්න කියලා තමයි තියෙන්නේ, right? Create new words by using the words in the box above with the words below, right? So the pictures will give you an idea, right? So generally it is easy when you see a picture, from that you can find the answer, right? Okay, so just quickly take 5 minutes and then we will quickly discuss the answers before moving or before doing the activity in your book, right? So you can try these by yourselves and we will discuss after 5 minutes, right? Right. Okay. So I think you had enough time to attempt on this. Since we have only about few minutes, we will quickly discuss the answers, right? So we will start first with this one. You can see I, and you can see something here, and you need to come up with the next word. The next noun would be a word which is having 4 letters, right? So likewise, you can see here, it should be 3 letters, 4 letters, 3 letters. So it is easy for you to figure out what is the word from this set which will match here, right? So anyone who would like to try the first one? Right, yes, as always, Vitulya, you can start.
Eyeball.
Yes, good, correct. So it is eyeball. අපි මේ ඇහි බෝලය කියලා කියන්නේ ඇහි බබා කියනවා අපි සිංහලෙන් කියන්නේ. ඒකට අපි ඉංග්‍රීසි වලින් කියන්නේ eyeball. E-Y-E. This is the other word. B-A-L-L. Eyeball. Right? So you can see it is a different noun. Ball means a different noun. ඇහැ කියන එක සහ බෝලය කියන එක එකිනෙකට වෙනස් නාමපද දෙකක්. හැබැයි අපි මේ දෙක එකතු කරලා වෙනමම තුන්වෙනි නාමපදයක් හදනවා ඇහි බෝලය. Eyeball. Right? Okay. The second one, sun and 3 blanks. Yes, Sulaksha, would you like to try it?
Sunset.
Yes, very good. Sunset. So you have the word here, right? So you can see here, ඉර බැහැගෙන යන පින්තූරයක් තමයි තියෙන්නේ. මෙතනදී sun and the next one is set, right? අපිට බැහැගෙන යනවා කියන එකට කියන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට ඒ දෙක එකතු වුණාම sunset is the compound noun, right? And third one, scare, and you have 4 blanks. Scare, 4 blanks. You can see what we need to come up with. Anyone who would like to try? Right, Sulaksha, yes, again, you can try.
Scarecrow.
Yes, very good. Scarecrow. I think you might have seen කුඹුරුවල මැද්දේ ඉන්නේ පඹයෝ. අර එන සත්තුන් වෙලා නන්න ඒ අපි හයි කරන පඹයට තමයි අපි ඉංග්‍රීසි වලින් කියන්නේ scarecrow, right? So you can see මෙතන පඹයක් ඇඳලා තියෙන්නේ. So it is scare and it should be crow. C-R-O-W. Scarecrow. Right? Crow කියන්නේ කපුට. අපි දන්නවා crow කියන්නේ කපුට, scare කියන්නේ බය කරනවා. එතකොට ඇත්තටම වෙන්නේ එන කුරුල්ලන්ව බය කරන එක. එතකොට ඒකට එක වචනයක් තමයි අපි හදලා තියෙන්නේ. පඹයා කියන වචනය. ඒක ඉංග්‍රීසි වලින් අපි කියන්නේ scarecrow, which is a compound noun, right? And then we have traffic and 3 blanks. Right, we have Neluni. Would you like to try it?
Yes, teacher. Traffic jam.
Yes, very good. It is traffic jam, right? J-A-M, right? So when we consider the 2 words traffic, it is, we know අපි දන්නා traffic කියන්නේ පාරේ වාහන තියෙනවා නම්, jam කියන එක අපි දන්නා සාමාන්‍ය භාවිතය අපි jam කියලා. හැබැයි මේ දෙක එකතු වුණාම traffic jam means there is some blocking in the vehicle's movement, right? And next word, pony and 4 blanks. Yes, anyone? I can see Imalshi.
Ponytail.
Yes, very good. Ponytail, right? So girls have these ponytails. අපේ දිග කොණ්ඩේ තියෙනකොට අපි දානවා ඒක ponytail එකක් කියලා කියනවා. So it is not something related to the pony, right? අපි දන්නවා pony කියන්නේ අර අශ්වයාගේ පොඩි කෙනානේ. එතකොට pony සහ tail. tail කියන්නේ වලිගය. හැබැයි අපි අතර මේ දෙක එකතු කරලා මේ හදලා තියෙන ponytail කියන වචනයෙන් අදහස් වෙන්නේ සතාට අදාළ දෙයක් නෙවෙයි. නමුත් ගෑනු ළමයි මේ දාන කොණ්ඩේ අර එකතු කරලා බඳින එකට තමයි ponytail කියන්නේ, right? So that is ponytail. So you have the word T-A-I-L here, right? T-A-I-L, pony tail. Right, next one, arm and 5 blanks. Yes, anyone? Someone who didn't try earlier?
Chair.
Yes, Bashita, very good. Arm chair, right? So this is an armchair. අපි දන්නවා අපේ ගෙවල් වල අර දෙපැත්තේ අත් තියන්න පුළුවන් විදියට තියෙන පුටු තියෙනවා. ඒකට තමයි අපි කියන්නේ arm. So arm means අත කියන එක. Chair කියන්නේ පුටුව. ඒතකොට ඒකෙන් තමයි අන්තිමට එන්නේ arm chair. Right. So we will just quickly go through. Right. This one, double, and we have 5 blanks. Yes, Kalani? Kalani, yes, would you like to try this one, double and something?
මැඩම් වැරදිලා අත ඉස්සනේ.
කමන්නේ try කරන්න. මේ මොකද්ද මේ පින්තූර තියෙන්නේ?
බස් එක.
ඔව් මේකේ අර තට්ටු දෙකක් තියෙන බස් එකට මොකක්ද අපි කියන්නේ? Right, it's okay, it's okay. Anyone else? Maybe right. We'll come back to Vitulya. Yes.
Double decker.
Yes, very good. Double decker. Right. So why do we call it double? Is it has 2, right? And decker means generally it is something which can carry. Right. So we have the double decker. So you have this word D-E-C-K-E-R. That is what should come here. D-E-C-K-E-R here. Actually, 1 space is missing. It should have 6 letters, right? And this one, star, blank.
Fish. Starfish.
Yes, very good. Kalani, starfish, right? So, star, අපි දන්නවා star කියන්නේ තරුව, fish කියන්නේ සාමාන්‍යයෙන් මාළුවා. Starfish means it is a kind of a fish who looks like a star, right? Strawberry, right? This one is strawberry because it is really easy. I just gave it. So this is berry, B-E-R-R-Y, strawberry, right? Okay, next one. Snow.
Snowflake.
Yeah.
Snowflake.
Yes, very good. Snowflake. Where can we see F-L-A-K-E here, right? F-L-A-K-E. Snowflake. F-L-A-K-E. Right. And then this one. Ishini?
Hot dog.
Hot dog.
Hot dog.
Yes, very good. Hot dog. So I think all of you are getting it now. Right. Next one. Door and 4 blanks. Anyone can answer, or all of you can answer. It's okay.
Doorbell.
Yes, very good. This is doorbell, right? And this one, house.
Wife.
Yes.
Wife.
Yes, very good. I think all of you are getting it. House, wife. This one, seat and 4 blanks.
Seat belt.
Yes, very good. Seat belt. It is something we have in our vehicles. This one,
Laptop.
Laptop.
yes, very good. Laptop. This one,
Handbag.
Handbag.
yes, very good. Handbag. This one, table.
Tablecloth.
Yes, very good. Tablecloth. And this one,
Hair dryer.
Hair dryer.
hair dryer. Yes, very good. So I think now you can understand how these things come. So we take 2 different nouns which have 2 different meanings, and we combine them to denote or to represent a separate noun, right? So that is what we call as compound noun. So I think I took a little bit more time than planned, but this activity, right? You can try this at home. right? So we will meet again this Wednesday at 7:45. So you have tomorrow, right? I think you will have time. You can read this and try to see what are the compound nouns you can find here, right? So you can have the idea now how we can find out whether it is a compound noun. When we read it, we should identify it is a combination of two different nouns, right? So I think it is easy for you to find what are the compound nouns in this paragraph. So do it at home as homework, and we will discuss as the first activity Wednesday, right? So with that, we will end the lesson for today, and we will meet on Wednesday, right? So if you have any,
Thank you, teacher.
yes, you can raise. If not, we can conclude, right? Good night.
Good night.
Thank you,
Good
teacher.
night, teacher.
Thank you, teacher.
Happy New Year, teacher.
Same to you.
Good night, teacher. Happy New Year.
Same to you.
Good night, teacher.
Good
Thank
night,
you.
teacher. Thank you.
Okay, good night.